we won't do this one either. The fellow that asked for it's not here, but somebody wanted the 7 Spanish Angels after we get out of it. We don't have to do it. I don't think it's good, huh? All right, well, we got these instruments, thank you. I don't know whether this is a good thing or not. So out in where I live, I was telling you about this morning, the county's the size of Connecticut, and we have a few less than 4,000 people. And so whenever I first moved there, they had a jam session down in town, and they would shut down the street so people could come and play in the jam session. And I remember years later somebody moved there and said, well, which street did they shut down?
The only one they had.
The place is the size of Connecticut, and it has 3,800 people. How many streets do you think we have? And there was an old fella there by the name of Danny Loafer, and he was a rancher, had a little bitty ranch outside town, but whenever an itinerant cowboy would come to town, he'd give him work. And a lot of guys come in. Of course, they did, none of them, as far as I know, ever had a horse. They'd already gotten rid of their horse or never had one to start with. But they always had a saddle. And I always remember my grandfather telling me, I realize young people aren't going to be interested in this, but the first sponsor of the Stanley Brothers was Honaker Saddle and Bridle. And that was, they made saddles and bridles in Honaker, Virginia, and if you ever go down into the slums of Appalachia, that's as good a place to go as any. And I remember my father telling me that saddles stay in families, and I don't know, there's something about that line that just tears me up even today. I don't know, but I can tell you this, when you go around those ranchers out there in those old shacks in Colorado mountains, those old saddles are still being used. And I'll tell you something else for you young people. And this is a true story too, and then we'll get to this. But it was 3 winters ago when I got to see this. I helped do a little cowboying with my one neighbor, and there was so much snow that the cattle couldn't get anything to eat. And so there's only 2 choices. You can either drive them down by the river, where they can kind of plod around and get a little grass, or you got to drive them up in the mountains even higher. And his ranch is 8,000 feet, and so you got to go up about 10, even 11,000 feet where the wind's strong enough to blow the snow out of the creases and the cattle can get something to eat. But here's where the plot sickens. The high mountain lakes and the high mountain streams freeze over, so if cattle want anything to drink with their wonderful dining up there, they have to bust through those creeks and lakes to get something to drink. And I tell you that to tell you this. Our cows can whip your cows. Don't go bringing any of your cows out west for a cow fight, because I'll tell you right now, our cows will smoke your cows. One of our cows, I've seen your cows on the way up here to the festival laying there in the shade. Yeah. They looked like they couldn't even get up off the ground. Anyways, Danny would give these guys a job, and then they'd come into playing the jam session, and half of them didn't have all their fingers or anything. I never wanted to miss a jam session, even though a lot of there wasn't a lot of musical instruments. There'd be occasional guitar or banjo or something like that, but then there'd be things like saxophones and accordions and drums. I'm pretty sure drummers are people who like to hang out with musicians. I mean, musicians like to hang out with drummers. And so I had never heard any song. I was always just dying to play and wanted to be with these guys, because here's the deal. These cowboys, they never sung anything they didn't mean. And I've always wanted to be like that my whole life. And now, with these 3 singers, just so you know, it's easy because we just sing what we mean, and That's why I say we would like to do the songs you want to hear,
Amen.
even if nobody really wants to hear this one. Finally,
We want to hear it.
Dan did this song, and it was the only song he'd ever done that I'd ever heard before. And I said, "Man, that was a hit." And he told me the story that it took place right there. I won't tell you the story. I've told it before, but right there at the foot of Kit Carson Mountain is where this story took place. He looked down into her dark eyes and said, "Say a prayer for me." She threw her arms around him and said, "God will keep us free." And they could hear the riders coming. He said, "This is my last fight. They'll take me back to Texas. It won't take me back alive." There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the pipes stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. Smoking in his hand. She said, "Father, please forgive me. I can't make it without my man." Then she knew the gun was empty, and she knew that she could not win. But her final prayer was answered when the rifle fired again. And there were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the fire stopped and the smoke cleared, it was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the fire stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. The 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. Thank you. All right, now we're ready to start over, but I can tell you right now, I can't do Auction at the Home Place. I can't remember the words. I've been trying to listen to our CDs, but I forget to listen to that. And I apologize for that, but there were some others, and maybe we could do them if you
What
got
happened to
it.
the cows?
Huh?
What happened to the cows?
She's right over here.
Oh, the cows to the frozen river.
Oh, the cows. What happened to cows? Oh, what? A good question. I'm sorry. What happened to the cows? Okay, so first of all, just for people who like to eat, think of what a dangerous job that is to go out and get up on a horse in the middle of winter, snow up to their different parts of horses, and ride up into the wilderness for 8 or 10 miles pushing cattle. So we did that, and then we had to go back up in there after about a month and round them up, and they were on about 80 square miles. They were on a whole range called the Sangre de Cristos, and I had to say, I've never seen people work harder, but I've never had more fun. I want to tell you, riding out in those mountains in that the snow was down and everything, and we were finding them a cow at a time, and we found them all but one. And I used to know her number. I think it was 364. Bruce knew that number. He was writing a song about her. We called her Little 364 because she'd gotten separated from her mother or something, and nobody could find her. We kept looking and looking and looking. And my neighbor said in July she came down out of the mountain. The only injury she had was part of her tail had frozen off. But she was the little 364. That's not the real number now, but we had a fan that knew that number. Back when I knew. What is it?
On the divide.
We'll do that for you.
The Cowboys are.
And this really is a song about people that do that kind of work, and kind of I admire them. And I also like these. And thanks for asking for these kind of stuff. I know this is the bark's left on this music, and there's no way to soften it up. And I mean that. And I know it's a lot. I've talked to people here already that say that they get a little weepy about some of this kind of music, and there ain't nothing wrong with that because it's just true stuff. Go cinch up my saddle, old Dunny and me's. We're gonna drive up the cattle where the snow used to be. Ain't much for nothing, still I can ride. And the springtime's a-coming up on the divide. Springtime's a-coming up on the divide. Oh, Charlie, he sold out and lost everything. 52 Chevy in a Navajo ring, busted flat open, split open wide. And the springtime's a-coming up on the divide. Springtime's a-coming up on the divide. Here in 33, and he worked in this saddle that my daddy gave me. I'm hoping there's someplace we can all rope and ride. And the springtime's a-coming up on the divide. Springtime's a-coming up on the divide. Been long overgrown. It's been 22 years since I gathered stone. 22 more since I'd made her my bride. And the springtime's a-coming up on the divide. Springtime's a-coming up on the divide. Now the coal company man wants to chew out your coal. They swallow your cattle and they gnaw at your soul. They dig you a grave about 10 acres wide.